Alright guys, I had to move the car inside. There's a freeze warning for my area and I don't have antifreeze in the block. I don't want to risk cracking it. So also it's pretty cold, it's snowing outside right now. So here, let y'all see. Okay. So I drove it in here. It's tight, but I think I can at least get the gas tank out. Like I said, I have a new one right here. I don't know that one's bad 100%, but I don't think it's in very good shape. There's a lot of dents in it, and a lot of signs of acorns and stuff on top of it. So I'm sure it's gonna be interesting to get out. But let me see here. See if I can get a light. I'll show you guys what I'm dealing with here. I got a heater here, so I'm gonna try to turn it off when I turn the camera on, but we'll see. All right. So there's gas tank. There's definitely nuts and stuff on top of it, so it's gonna be a mess to get out. Let's see here. It looks like it's only 2 straps and it'll come out. I don't know how long the gas line is and if it's rubber. I don't know if it's any good or anything. I'm going to try to blow through it and blow trash out of it. So I don't know if you guys can see, but this car is solid. Normally these trunk pans are rusted out and stuff, and it's got service rust on it, which is expected. But other than that, it is in really good shape. But let me go into the gas tank out and get the new one in. Alright guys, before I drop the tank, I want to open up this access panel and see what it brings me to. See if it brings me to the pickup or the fuel gauge or something like that. So I think this is going to be, I soaked it down with PB Blaster, but I have a feeling these screws are not going to, oh wow, holy cow. Well, it's a little stiff, but that loosens right up. Let me get a screwdriver that fits a little better. This one's a little big. Alright, it's going to take a little working to get out, but it's coming out. Alright, let me try to get the rest of them out and I'll bring you back when I got it open. Alright guys, I got it all unscrewed. They came out pretty good. One of them gave me a problem, this one right here. All the threads are going. So I'll have to replace it, but it's not really stuck down like I thought it would be. Okay, so this goes to the fuel sending unit. Okay, so that's good to know. Let me clean it off and see if I can go ahead and unhook it. I don't really want to, I might be blinding you guys. I don't really want to take that off right now. I really get the tank out. So let me unhook it. I'm sure it'll be easier at this point than after I drop the tank. And there is no other access points that I see, and this rubber mat is stuck down pretty good, and I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to tear it. I don't know where the washer went, but find it. Here it comes. Yeah, there's rocks. Wasn't nuts, it was gravel. This is gravel from up around here, so it was up here for a while. Look at that. There it goes. Oh, rocks. The floor is immaculate. That's crazy. Oh, the whole pickup or fill hose is coming with it. Let me see if I can rotate this thing. All right, it's off. Let me bring you guys in here and just so you guys can see what it looks like in here. How immaculate this is. Look at that. No holes, just some surface rust. I don't know what happened with the tailpipe there, but somebody cut it or it rusted out and then they decided to run it over. So I'll have to cut that out, but this is insane to me how nice this is. But all right guys, so the tank was definitely shot. There is holes in it, so no good. This tank looks pretty close to the new one. I'm noticing some stuff that's different. So this has a seam around it, and the neck looks the same, and it looks pretty close to the same spot as a fuel sending unit. But I need to do some measuring because that's gonna suck if that isn't the right tank, because these tanks are really expensive, like $400 or more. So let me do some measuring real quick and I'll get back with you guys. All right guys, I think the tank's gonna work. I did some rough measurements. It's really close. I think it'll work. So next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to get these out. The screws out. I already tried once and couldn't really get them. So I'm gonna break out the impact here. See that groove a little bit. Good old impact. Screw doesn't look too bad. Really short though. What's y'all's guesses on this? Is this gonna look like it's junk or good? I'm honestly gonna say junk. Seeing the holes in the tank, I think it's gonna be junk. What's this gonna look like inside? I think it's, oh, nasty. Oh, holy cow. All right, I think it's shot. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go put it in the ultrasonic cleaner and see. I don't know if I'm gonna put the float in there. Can't tell. I think it's cork float. I'm gonna put the top in there definitely. And see if it'll break it open, break it apart, maybe get some of the corrosion, see if it'll move. Let's see what it looks like in here. And it is disgusting. So no saving this tank. I'm gonna have to make a gasket for the top of the other tank. But let me go ahead and get that soaking. I got it heating up right now, and I'm just curious to see if it's the same pattern. Let's take it on. Same screw pattern. That's good. That is good. All right. Let me get back to you guys, and I might look up a price on one of these fuel sending units to see what they cost. So, all right. All right, guys. Sorry for the noise stuff. I guess it's getting kind of cold in here, and I'm trying to keep the heat in the basement. But so here's the sending unit. It actually reads some. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to see the gauge. I'm gonna try to keep it there. Keep it where you guys can see it possibly. I know it's upside down, but so we got -1 at empty. Come on. And as it's reading ohms. They're not a super high number. And it was going up to 3, now it's only going up to 2. So what I read online was it's supposed to be 0 to 90. So since it's not, there's some rivets on here. I'm gonna drill these rivets out and see if I can take this apart. These are like $100, a little more, and I'm not ready to spend that kind of money on it. So let me get a drill bit, drill those out real quick. Close on that one. All right, there we go, and it's separated. So if I think I clean this little tab right here and the inside of this, I think it might be all right. So it looks like the coil's all right on this. It's reading ohms. So the coil inside here, I don't know if you guys can see that. The coils in here look like they're doing okay. All right, guys. I got the the sending unit rebuilt the best I could. I'm not sure if it's gonna work. If I test it on the housing, it doesn't read right, but if I test it on the arm, if I put the lead on the arm and the lead on the other sensor, it reads perfectly. So I'm not quite sure how this is gonna work, but I'm gonna throw it in there anyway. Maybe with some fuel splashed on it or something, it'll be right. But I'm also not putting the rivets back in it because I don't have any of that size, and I'm worried about it hitting the frame here. I'm just gonna put the gasket on it. I got it all lined up. All right, guys. So I have the tank ready to go in. I got the plug in the drain. I got the fitting in the side. We're ready to go. Let me cut this wire off. The fuel line on this car is plugged. The fuel line actually looks okay. It's just full of bad gas. So either I'm gonna take it out and try to clean it, or I'm just gonna put a new fuel line in. It is a metal line, which I have no problem getting some metal line and rerunning it. Even if I have to go all the way to the pump, that's fine. I can do that. I'm not afraid of it. But I am going to try to go ahead and get the tank in, make sure it fits. Like I said, it's a little bit wider, just by a little bit, so I'm thinking it'll be all right. This is what's listed as the replacement tank, so I believe it'll fit. But let me go ahead and slide it up underneath here and try to strap it up in there. This is always the more difficult part. There's light. Y'all can see the top of my bald head for a minute. All right, guys, I'm back to working on the gas tank. I want to make this thing work. It's like 300 bucks for a new one. I really don't want to spend the money on it. And this one's so close. So what I've done is I've bent up the edge lip here, which has got me a little bit more room. But what I think I'm gonna do next, I've already tried to put it in there and it's close, but it won't fit. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to bend these brackets straight to give me a little more room. And I think I can put a longer bolt in and get reach and snug up there. So I'm not hurting anything, honestly. If I need to heat them up and bend them back, I can. I might bend the back of the strap straighter, but we're gonna see. I'm gonna try this first and see if I can get the room, because it's really close. It's not quite out far enough. And I think if I straighten this and get it bent straight, it'll give me the extra little bit I need. So let me go ahead and do that. All right, guys, got the gas tank in there. It's not pretty and it does not fit right, but I just added some strap extensions. I made some to make them fit. This is what I'm gonna do for now, until either I buy a new gas tank or I determine that this car's worth putting a new gas tank in. If the engine and transmission don't live up to what I want, I'm gonna have to put some other gas tank in this anyway, because I'm probably gonna go EFI. But for now, this will work. There's no money lost because the gas tank came with the car, and if I have to change it up later, it won't be a big deal. The filler neck is on the right side. The fill point is on the right there by the line, and I can get to the sending unit, which I just noticed I don't know where the cord is. I'll have to figure out where the cord is for it, or where the wire is for it, and get it over to it. So like I said, this will work for now, but I'm gonna show you guys what we're done. So there are the straps. I just bent some steel I had, made some straps. They're not pretty, but they will work for now. If they're not tight enough, which the tank's not going nowhere, but it's not sitting up there great either. If I don't like it, I'll figure something else out. I just don't want to buy a tank at this point. All right, guys. Let me keep going. I can't hook up the fuel line because it's plugged, so I gotta either run a wire up in there or something. The fuel pump does work, shockingly. So the line is cut halfway, and from that halfway point forward, it does seem to work. And like I said, the pump does work. I sprayed gas everywhere yesterday, testing it. But all right, guys, let me keep going. I'll bring you guys back whenever something else interesting happens.
All right, guys, I've been editing this video and it looks like I lost a good bit of footage. So I figured I'd go ahead and catch you guys up and bring you up to the next video or next clip. So I got the gas tank in, and fuel line is clogged at this point. I got the fuel line unclogged, ended up taking a wire and running it down the fuel line and getting it hooked up, put a filter in, took the car for a drive and around the yard, and I got it back, and I noticed it kind of wasn't, anytime you gave it gas, it seemed like it couldn't keep up. Well, there's a weep hole in the fuel pump for if the diaphragm starts leaking, it'll start leaking fuel out, and that's what it was doing. It was losing fuel pressure by leaking out the weep hole. So took the fuel pump out, and this is where we're at. I'm at the point of rebuilding the fuel pump. So we'll start up there.
All right, guys. Our rebuild kit finally came in here. It just came in a couple minutes ago. I'm excited to get it put together. I don't really like how it's packaged. It's just kind of thrown in case here, but let's get you guys set up over here and start doing some assembling here. Everything's clean except for the external bolts right here, or screws, and I'm not too worried about them. I don't have a great way to clean them. Alright, trying to figure out what I need to reuse and what I have new of. A new seal for the glass. New valves, a screen, which the old one didn't have a screen, so I'm not sure. Maybe right there. Alright. I am a dummy. Well, let me put the seals in. That one faces up. And then where's the other seal? And the valve. This faces down. Otherwise, these are the same valves. It doesn't matter which goes where. But one faces up and one faces down. And you only can put one of them down. The other one won't. It won't fit through the hole. And then here is the keeper for it. And this does not have a direction. I believe this is the screw for it. Alright, nice and tight. That's what it's supposed to look like. Alright. This is where it's going to get a little difficult. Actually, so you got this seal that goes in here. Goes like that, and then this gets pressed in on top. I don't believe this is directional. I don't think it matters. But let me see something real quick. So, alright, so it goes in like that. So it is directional. Then it just pushes down in there. Let me get a socket that fits that. Just want to fit right on the metal piece there. We got a way too big a hammer. Alright, that's down. And that's where it gets a little difficult. So you have the spring, and let's see here. Spring, and then there's this piece from the old one that I'm going to use. Is going to help center it. The new one does not come in the kit. Put it together. Face the right direction. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a little bit of grease on the end of this. On the end of this here, to help it slide in here. So let me grab a little grease. All right, I got some grease on it. You also want to put a little bit on the shaft because this is a rubber seal, and it might take a little bit for oil to get in here, because this does get oiled by the engine. So I got a little bit on the shaft part. Slide this on. New spring. Just ease it through. You'll hear it kind of pop when it goes through. And then once you get it sort of lined up here. And then this arm goes in. It goes in right in here. It's hard to see. I'm not going to be able to show it in the camera, but you can see where it clips in to the pump. You gotta push the pump all the way in. Alright, I got it that time. Got it in the right way. Get the arm in the right way. Alright guys, that took a while. It is kind of difficult to line up all three pieces, the rod going to the plate going to the pump, the arm for the pump, and the pin. I had a lot of trouble with it, but as you can see, it works now. I need to get the pin all the way in. I need to get the spring on. We keep on assembling this. So let me tap the pin in. Alright, I got it bottomed out. I'm going to take the other side here. This is the washer, I don't know, keeper that came off of it, and it's the one I'm going to use. I'm going to put it over it. Actually, let me tap this side in a little more, because it doesn't like it's quite reaching. Let me use the punch. Alright. It's pretty seated. I got a little more now. Put this on. And it might take a little bit of work. It should kind of clip on, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to find a little socket. It'll go around the shaft. You can test it on the other side. Let me go up a size. The best thing to do is have this side sitting on something. I don't really have anything. I'm using the corner of the table here. You guys aren't going to be able to see. Alright. That's what it's supposed to look like. I could actually bang it down a little bit more. Let me go and do a little bit more. But it's a pretty snug fit. It's just like almost like a little bit of a press fit. Let use a punch for this, so I'm trying to get this side done. Alright, it's on. It took a little bit, but it's on, it's not coming off. And it should not rotate when you pump it. Oh. When you pump it, it shouldn't rotate. It does not rotate. Oh. We're good to go. Let's keep on assembling. I'm going to use the old spring because the new one feels kind of wussy. So springs on there. There we go. Oh. Rotate that distance right. There's nothing else that goes on this side. And there's nothing else that goes in here. So keep track of your parts. So I'm not using that. What I'm not using, I'm setting aside. I'm not going to get rid of them, but I'm going to set them aside. So next thing would be to put this on, and what I'm trying to do is make sure the holes are lined up. This does want to spin a little bit. There is spring tension on it, so line up the holes. When you do this, there's only one way it can go. So, see. I believe I got it all lined up. I'm gonna push down. Put the screws in. Tilt you all up actually a little bit more. There we go. Alright, got them all started, except for one, which is this. Oh. And that goes the other way. Not exactly sure what that's for, but it's on here. So I'm putting it back on there. So. If you don't get it tight, you'll leak fuel. So make sure you get it tight. All right. That's tight, except for this one. Let me get a wrench here. That is a, what is this? 5/16. This is just some aluminum thread, so don't go tighten down on it too hard. All right. A little bit of corrosion roll gasket, a little bit right there, just trying to clean off. So, all right, we're almost there. I want to put the glass bowl on last because I don't want to potentially break it. So let me go ahead and get these fittings on. They're just pipe thread. They don't need any sealant. You don't want to crank down on these. You just want to get them snug. If you install and it's leaking a little bit, you can try tightening a little bit more. If it's still leaky, you can try to use some thread tape or something like that, but you shouldn't need it. All right. All we got left is the bowl, and I said before, we didn't have a screen before, but we'll put it in. Can't hurt. Got a rubber gasket and the bowl. And you want to make sure this surface is nice and clean. Feel for any bumps or anything. The person before this used some kind of gas silicone. It didn't dissolve in gas, so it's a little textured, but I think it's gonna be all right. All right. All right. Believe we're there. You don't want to go crazy with tightening this up. It's seated, it won't rotate. So all we need to do is I need to clean off the surface in the engine, and we'll put the gasket on. Let's see. So it is directional, and there's a little hole in the bottom to let the oil out. So at least that's what I believe it's for. In my opinion, it goes like this. So it should be good. Let me go get a razor blade. I'm clean off the car part, and then we'll install it. I'm sorry, clean off the surface on the engine, and then we'll install it. All right, guys, I got you in here, so hopefully you can see what's going on a little better. Try to get a light down there so I can see. That doesn't blind you guys. That might work. All right. Might have to push that arm down a little bit to get it to fit. Alright, so I got it in. You got to make sure the lobe is kind of skinny. So you got to make sure you're on the lobe and make sure it's straight. And then now I can go in there and tighten it up. Make sure you tighten it up evenly because it can pop off that lobe again. After we get this in, my plan is to crank up the car, get the oil hot, and drain the oil and replace the filter. Alright guys, the fuel pump is installed down there. It wasn't too bad. It was a little bit of a pain, but it wasn't bad. I'm kind of worried about that line. I thought that was a metal line. Turns out it is not. It is rubber, and it is pretty petrified. But I'm gonna try it anyway. It pumped fuel before, why not again? So we're good to go. The only thing left to do is to test it out. So turn this light off. So let's make sure everything's out of the way. Then we got wrenches off the car so they don't fly down there. Oil's good. I just checked it. It does need water. Radiator's still leaking pretty bad. That's on my list to fix. So let me hook up the ignition switch, which is this wire. It didn't spark, but it might be on a might be already gapped. So all right. It's probably gonna take a little bit to start, but let's try anyway. Neutral. I'm gonna give it a pump. Alright, let's see if I can hear a squirter. Heard a squirter. There we go. Oh. Can't tell if it picked up fuel or not. Alright, I don't know if it's picking up fuel. Let me take a look over here. So where I smell gas. There is fuel in the bowl. It looks clean, so we're close. So I'm gonna let it pump a little bit more. Yep, we have fuel. I see it leaking. So either the flow stuck. I see fuel other places too. I think it might be flooded. So let me try flooring it, figure it out. It must be really flooded. I wonder if or some trash got any old seat like it did before. Let me take this off. Let me clean this. We're not to the bath stage yet. We'll get there. There we go. Let me take the oh, I forgot to tighten that up. That's about what it is. Oh yeah. It's flooded. I bet there's trash in the middle seat. Let me what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a little trick here and heat up the manifold. I'm gonna take this torch. I'm just gonna heat up the manifold. If you have any fuel leaks, don't recommend it. But I don't see anything really. And what this will do, I'm gonna heat up the exhaust manifold. What this is gonna do is gonna help evaporate that fuel some, and it'll actually help it atomize with the air a little bit better. let's see how that does. Guys, I don't know how loud that is on the camera, but it's pretty loud here. What I want to do is actually back it up, but I need to move some stuff. I need to fill up this tire. The tire keeps leaking down. And I want to let it warm up. I do need to put some water in the radiator. Alright guys, let's fire this thing up and take it around the yard. First spin with a new fuel pump. So let's see how it does. Let me go and hook up the ignition here. See if I can do this one-handed. They did not make these boots easy. Alright, let me set you guys down. Alright. One day I'll have the ignition switch come in. Stuff is taking forever to get here. Let's try this again. There we go. Get this hooked up here so it doesn't hit nothing. All right, let's fire this baby up. All right. I'll give you all a rooftop view here. All right.
Alright guys, I call that a success. Made it around the yard. That's awesome. I need to do an oil change on this. I got a filter that came in today, and I believe the oil for it came in today. So I need to do an oil change on it. Brakes. The brakes are going to be its own video. So I need to go through that, which is rebuild the master cylinder, most likely rebuilding or replacing the seals and the drums, and who knows, it might need brakes. I don't know, brake pads or shoes. Sorry, shoes. This is drum all the way around, but it's running pretty good. It's doing good. Let me do a little walk around here. I need exhaust. That might actually be the next thing I do. Put just a little bit of an exhaust on there. But also need to, I have a hinge, but the trunk lid here is bent a little bit. So I need to straighten it before I put the hinge on, or I'll do the same thing that somebody else did. So, let's see. Oh, look at the amp meter still working. Look at that. Amp meter's doing good. Seems a little high, but it does drop down. Fuel gauge is not working, but I think I need my ignition switch to get that to work. Speedometer just needs some time down the road, or some lubrication, and then oil is still pegged. I tried everything besides taking it out. The only thing I can do is probably take it out. I put a vacuum line on the end trying to suck it back down. I even sprayed some like carburetor cleaner in there trying to get maybe some old gungy oil out of it, but it doesn't want to work. So, man, what a cool car. Looks good out in the sun. So, let me, I think I'm gonna end the video here. We gotta move it around under its own power. We got the gas tank installed, fuel pump rebuilt, the radiator in, but it leaks, and we got the engine all cleaned out. Well, as cleaned out as it's going to be at this point. So I think I'm going to end it here. You guys, I appreciate you watching, and if you have any comments of what you'd like to see with this car, leave a comment, and I'll see you on the next one.